drivers in Ontario will soon be able to travel a little faster on sections of the highway, including the 401 and 403. The province says it'll be raising the speed limit from 100 to 110 kilometers an hour. A 35-kilometer stretch of the 401 from Highway 35 to Cobourg is among the areas where the limit will be increased. The speed limit will also be raised on the 403 from Brantford to Hamilton and from Woodstock to Brantford. Parts of highways 406, 416, and 69 will see the speed limit boosted as well.
These increases will cover over 36%, a full 860 kilometers of Ontario's highway network. They build on the safe and successful increase to 6 sections of provincial highways my colleague, Minister Mulroney, announced in 2022, and helps align Ontario's speed limits with other provinces across Canada.
Now, for reaction to the speed limit increase, we're joined live by OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, unfortunately, a bad part about your job is that you see what happens when people drive unsafely, even when the speed limit was at 100. So what's your reaction now to the speed limit increasing in parts of the 401 and 403 and other highways across the province to 110?
Well, obviously, speeding and aggressive driving continues to be one of the leading causes of death and injury on our highways. And we need drivers, all drivers, to understand the speed limits are there for a reason. Stunt driving legislation has been in place for several years now, and that is remaining unchanged. So people driving 150 kilometers per hour, egregious speeds, are still going to be subject to the automatic 14-day vehicle impound, license suspension, stunt driving charges, even in a speed limit zone that's 110 kilometers per hour. Again, the MTO are the ones that establish the speed limits. The OPP and police services across the province are the ones that enforce the rules of the road. But again, it's completely incumbent upon all drivers to understand the rules of the road, the speed limits, and how you share the road safely with all motorists out on the highways.
Yeah, I believe it's 110 kilometers between Hamilton and Niagara on that stretch of the QEW. Have you seen any difference in crashes along that stretch, even though they have an increased speed limit?
Yeah, I know they've had a pilot area there for several years already, and in areas that have been, determined to be appropriate for these pilot projects. Now it's expanding as well through other areas of the QW 401 and across the province. And we have not seen any significant increases in crashes. Again, it comes down to drivers' behavior. We're going to still see aggressive and egregious driving in many areas, in public streets, residential streets with much lower speed limits, and drivers going 40 kilometers per hour over the speed limit in residential lower speed limits, as well as even in 110 zone kilometers. Once you hit the 150 threshold, you're going to be subject to automatic stunt driving charges. So again, it really is important to understand the rules of the road are there for everyone's safety, and we need all drivers to really pay attention and understand what their responsibility is and the privilege of driving, and we're going to hold those accountable for those who take liberties that shouldn't be doing, speeding in a manner that is inappropriate.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, I don't know what the average speed people actually do travel at. I think most people I'm in the car with, it's around 120. And so, with the speed limit at 100, my only thought is, and I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything, but if it's at 110, is there a fear that people might look at that, I could push it to 130 and I'd be okay?
Well, again, the speed limit is a speed limit, and keep in mind, commercial truck traffic, is governed at 105, and I challenge anyone going 100 kilometers per hour. If you set your speed at 100 and drive in the right lane, you will bump into traffic that's going even below the speed limit. And so when it comes to speed differential, if you're doing 110, 105, which is appropriate for the highways, you will still come across traffic that's going slower than you. There's no minimum speed limit, but we want people to drive appropriately and safely. Truck traffic, a big 80,000 pounds of truck takes longer to stop in their bigger vehicles. And the faster, the bigger speed differential from aggressive driving to other drivers, if people are not paying attention and not aware of their surroundings and adjusting their driving and their speed appropriately, they can get themselves into a lot of trouble. regardless of the speed that they're traveling at. So, we just want drivers to really share the road, look down the road, understand what's going on, and realize the speed limits are there for everyone's safety. And we're going to do what we can to hold those people accountable as we're doing our enforcement, our education, and awareness to remind motorists the importance of getting to your destination safely. Even a few kilometers an hour isn't going to get you home or to your destinations that much faster, but it puts you at a substantially increased risk of being involved in a crash.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt, always good to catch up. Thank you.